All right, it's 7 p.m. We're going to begin this regular meeting of the Rutherford Board of Education, April 6, 2026. We'll ask everyone who can to please stand, face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll ask Mr. Whitford to please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian?
Present.
Ms. Cates?
Here.
Ms. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Conti? Mr. Healy?
Here.
Mrs. Jones?
Present.
Dr. Racine?
Here.
Mr. Sprayberry?
Present.
Dr. Alati?
Here.
Ms. Iorio?
Here.
You have a quorum.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Rutherford Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place posted on the bulletin board outside the Borough Clerk's office, mailed to the Herald, South Bergenite, and the Record newspapers, and filed with the Borough Clerk. Hard copies of the agenda are available in the meeting room, and the agenda is posted electronically on Friday before the meeting date on the district's website at www.rutherfordschools.org. Subsequent to the meeting, a video of the meeting will be uploaded to the district's website, www.rutherfordschools.org. The video link can be found by opening the Board of Education link and clicking on Public Meetings and then Videos. So board members, in your packets, there are minutes to approve from the regular meeting and executive session for March 16th. Are there any questions or comments on those? Seeing none, I'll ask Mr. Whitford to please enter those. And I will turn it over to Ms. Iorio for the report of the student representative.
Good evening. Quarter 4 officially started today. It's hard to believe how fast this school year has gone by. We celebrated the start of spring sports with our spring pep rally last week. Spirit Week was very successful. The seniors ended up winning by just 2 points, and it was very close throughout the whole week. The freshmen and juniors tied for second place. The distinguished graduate presentation was also very successful. The speaker really captivated the audience and did a great job at answering any questions the students had in both the small group discussion and the main presentation. The RHS concert choir had the opportunity to sing at Carnegie Hall recently. This is a huge honor and definitely something to celebrate. Members of the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America Club recently attended the spring conference. The students who attended received awards for the projects they completed and had the chance to participate in different leadership workshops. The junior dinner dance is coming up this Friday, which the junior class is really looking forward to. The annual Popser at RHS is coming up next week. This is always such a fun event and a great chance for students to showcase their musical talent for family and friends. Students are also looking forward to spring break to recharge for the rest of the school year. And some news from the other schools. The Kindergarten Center has enjoyed hosting the UMS Service Club throughout the year, most recently on March 31st. The kindergarten students have had the chance to play with the older students. This allows the younger kids to learn through modeling, observing appropriate play skills, and communicating properly. The older students also learn by practicing patience and teamwork. Lincoln School recently hatched 12 chicks, and the entire school also read The World According to Humphrey. Lincoln and Washington School third graders also had their first crosstown visit during Read Across America Week. 2 classes visited Lincoln while 2 visited Washington School to share their favorite books and enjoy a snack together. Pierpont School is looking forward to their spring choir and band concerts, as well as preparing for the NJSLA in May. At Union School, accelerated pre-algebra students recently learned about probability through engaging station activities. They used hands-on trials and data collection to see how math predictions play out in real life. And additionally, the several UMS music students were recognized for their outstanding performance as members of the 2026 NJSMA Region 1 Intermediate Treble Choir. They recently performed at Clifton High School and sang a very challenging and diverse program, which included Canadian folk, jazz, and pop music. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I always appreciate your well-rounded reports on all of the schools. Any questions or comments from board members?
Good job.
Thank you.
Excellent. Popser was like one of my favorite events when my kids went there, but course, I had a singer, so it helps. All right, well, thank you. We appreciate your report, Sarah, and you're welcome to stay if you'd like to, and if you have other commitments, we understand as well. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Sarah, do you know when the pop sort is?
I'm not sure. I know it's next week. I
Just
think
next week?
it's either Wednesday
It's,
or Thursday.
Give me 1 second. It's April 16th.
Oh, so it's in,
Thursday.
Right.
yeah,
Next
next Thursday.
Thursday.
Next Thursday, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so we are going to move on now to the report of the superintendent.
Just a couple of items tonight. Tonight is Mr. Whitford's last official duty here as business administrator, board secretary. So again, we thank him, and I think we've been thanking you every meeting for the last.
I might stay just for that.
And we wish you well. And Mr. Joe Kelly, who's seated in the audience, is going to be the interim BA board secretary until the end of the academic year. So we welcome Joe back, and we thank him for coming back and joining us. A couple of other quick items. You know, the comments that Sarah was talking about, some of the programs, and, you know, we talk about the profile of the graduate, and, you know, the collaboration when you have the kids from different schools getting together, the older students with the younger students, you know, citizenship, you know, the critical thinking, the creative thinking. You know, these are things that, you know, have always existed, but I think the profile kind of makes us recognize it more. You know, that the foundational pieces we're trying to build. And you know, the term executive functioning, you know, it sounds like a very challenging word, but you know what she was talking about with the kindergarten kids. You know, that's executive functioning. You know, learning how to play, how to organize, and following models of older kids. So, again, I congratulate the students for their initiative. Most of what Sarah talks about is not necessarily a class assignment. It's either a volunteer club or a co-curricular that the students are involved in. I will be sending something out to the school community most likely this week that our snow days, you know, we use them all, and I did let the board know this. So Friday, May 22nd, and Tuesday, May, whatever that would be, 25th, 24th, whatever the Tuesday after Memorial Day. Those days are full, you know, regular days of school, but we will go with a one-session day on the Friday before Memorial Day. So that will go out. So, you know, to elongate the weekend a little bit and still get the full day in. Spring break is the week of April 20th. As far as the board packet that will go out ahead of the April 27th meeting, I'll get back to you on whether we'll do that as we normally do, the Thursday before the meeting, or whether we'll do it the week before. The office staff, you know, is open, but some people do use the vacation time when school is not in session. So I just want to see what kind of staffing we'll have before I'll let you know whether it comes out the week before or the couple of days before. And remember, the 27th is a number of things. Joe's first meeting will be the budget hearing, so we'll see if he remembers how to do that. That will be an important meeting. The Personnel Committee, I know we talked about May 4th. I think, Dr. Alati, you were talking about a time that night. You could check and let me know. We want to meet personnel, but I think when we met last, you said that there might be a time problem you have at work. So let me check your calendar. Let me know. Yeah, but let me know. That committee will meet on May 4th. Right now, I don't think there's going to be a need for other committees to meet, but I will let you know that, you know, as the next couple of weeks go by. And that's it for now. Like I said, a relatively short report tonight. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hurley. Questions or comments from board members? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the report of the president. Want to echo what Mr. Hurley said about thanking Matt Whitford for your service as business administrator. I remember with Dr. Racine sitting on the finalist panel, and I think you were the final candidate, and we're like, that's our person. So you've really done great work in the time you've been here, and we've been really appreciative of your innovation and your creativity and your fiscal prudence and the way you've continued to educate us about aspects of governance that are really important. So thank you. Really appreciate everything you've done and wish you the best in your next chapter. And when I walked in today, seeing Mr. Kelly, I said, "You look relaxed." And he said, "Well, I was." But no, to have a former BA come back and step in, you don't know the comfort it brought this group at the last couple of meetings when we heard that. So everyone's really pleased and appreciative. So thank you in advance. Wanted to share that, so in New Jersey, in Bergen County, there are 24 master board members who have received their certification, and 2 of them are on our Board of Education out of those 24. It was Mr. Dennis Healy, and as of, I believe, last week, Mr. Bogosian joined those ranks, so I just want to congratulate Mr. Bogosian.
Thank you.
I think you have to do at least 40 credits worth of online classes, and great work, great commitment. After the next meeting, probably end of April, beginning of May, just as a heads up, that's when I'll send out the CSA evaluation to start to look at that as we get toward the final weeks of the school year. So that is it for my board report. Any questions or comments?
Can I add one comment? School Boards Association fall workshop. We've already received information about that. So we'll be sending out, or Mr. Kelly's will be sending out shortly information. If you think you want to go or you can go or plan to go, you let us know. There is the opportunity going late into it to always add or delete some people. But, if we want to see if anybody thinks they're going, we could get that going early on. So that will come out, probably before our spring break. Okay.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. It's 7:12 p.m. We're going to open the meeting to the public. We have 2 moments where we open the meeting to the public. First is typically for things only related to the agenda, and the second is for things related or not related to the agenda. Because we have a couple of people here this evening, happy to open it up to the public for anything related to or not related to the agenda this evening. All right, so we'll just ask if you can just share your name and your address. We ask if you could try to keep comments to about 3 minutes or so. And just so you know, it's not always a back and forth between the board or superintendent unless one of us wants to say something, but please know that we're taking notes. Everything you say is really important. We do a lot of our work in committees, in the 6 different committees that we're on outside of here, but just wanted to kind of share that and give the floor over to you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Rachel Edmonds, and my address is 8 East Park Place here in Rutherford, New Jersey. I have a 2nd grade student at Lincoln School, and I have a 7th grade student who is currently out of district. Forgive me because I didn't prepare notes, but I am coming to express concerns that I have alongside many parents in our district about the amount of computer-based learning we have going on here in Rutherford, particularly in grades K through 5. We're here to start the conversation of how we can get back to more pen to paper learning so that students have a deeper retention of material. I've noticed with my 7th grade son, who had a beautiful experience here in Rutherford, that the more computer-based learning that was happening, although he was able to excel on all of the testing, he wasn't retaining the information and getting very burnt out by the end of the day. So by the time he would get home from the school day, starting in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and it was time for him to sit down and work on his homework, also on the computer, he was unable to focus. He had straight A's in all of his subjects, so it wasn't a matter of not excelling. But when we were looking at the information with him, he wasn't retaining it. So we've read a lot of the research that is out there and know what is developmentally appropriate for different aged students of how much time they're on the computer. So what we want to advocate for, I want to advocate for, is making sure there's stronger guidelines in place for our students so that they are retaining information in the most optimal learning environment. And particularly when it comes to extracurriculars, that time during the day for a brain break so that they can excel and be well-rounded students, that we're not relying on the computer for art or for music or for gym, and they're allowed more time to move their bodies and expand their knowledge in different ways instead of in front of a screen. So I'm just going to leave it there for now because there's some other parents here that would like to express similar concerns. Thank you for all that you do to help encourage an optimal learning environment for our students and allowing us to express concerns. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak?
Good evening, everyone. Aidan Booth. I live at 256 Woodward. I have a child in second grade and another one going to be in kindergarten next in the upcoming year. Kind of on a similar vein to Rachel, but it's more focused on, in terms of the security and the policy and the governance side when it comes to information security, privacy, when the kids are on using the technology. Obviously, we want them to ensure that they have the skill set and they do it in a secure way, and they build the skill set that they need that's going to set them up for success. But at the same time, just understanding what that looks like in terms of how their privacy is handled, not just kind of in Rutherford, but in terms of third parties and things like that. What privacy and security controls are put in place for the Chromebooks and everything else. And it's like Rachel said, this is more just come to learn about this process and learn hopefully in the future engaging to understand how we can all build a better approach in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public who would like to speak? All right. Then it's 7:18 p.m. We're going to close the meeting to the public.
Yeah, I would just like to make some general comments. I can't really be too specific on anything, but your folks are here. And first of all, I don't disagree, and we don't disagree with anything you're saying. We have been kind of in front of this long before that article came out a couple of weeks ago in the New York Times, and we've been in front of it before some of the books have come out. I think, again, I'm not disputing what you're hearing or feeling or seeing, but I can tell you that just a couple of things. First of all, cursive writing is back, right? It's being taught. If you walk through Washington or Lincoln schools, you will see a lot of really cool things up on the hallways, and they're all handwritten, and they're all printed or handwritten. I like the ones I just saw in Washington about, what I want to be when I'm 100 years old, which I thought was, I feel like I'm 100 years old, but I'm not yet. But it was, it was some really cool things that they wrote. Phonics is still being taught with the new program with tapping out syllables and tapping out sounds. Our math program is a computer-based textbook, but the kids work in workbooks, and hopefully you've been seeing that. The vocabulary and the grammar books that we brought in are the Sadlier workbooks that I used when I taught 35 years ago. They're still books. We have done things in Union School where we tried like No Tech Tuesday, things like that with the middle school. A lot of our programs, especially in elementary level, are things like the word of the week and the state of the week, and meaning the actual state where they learn about. PBSIS, which is a positive behavioral program out of Rutgers. None of those involve technology. I observe classes, I observe all second or third year teachers in the last, say, 6 or 8 weeks. Again, anecdotally, I've been to, I think, 17 K to 4 classes, all unannounced. I saw a Chromebook used in one class for about 6 minutes, and that was the only time I saw it. The interactive board is really being used like a chalkboard, where they're writing the objective of the day up there. I think the thing that we try to stress and we try to watch is that technology is a tool, right? It doesn't drive the curriculum. It's part of the curriculum. So when I first started teaching, there were some teachers who showed film strips every day. You may have had some of those teachers. There were some teachers who showed videos every day. Actually, when I started, it was reel-to-reel film. Those were not the kind of teachers we wanted teaching. And the same way we don't want teachers who are constantly, it's a tool, right? It's used to enhance learning. To the gentleman's point that just spoke, yeah, we can't close our eyes to technology. I mean, grade 3 comes along, every child has to start taking state tests on the computer. They have to write essays on the computer. They have to take those up through grade 11. They have to take SAT tests, ACT tests, AP tests. They're all computerized. Most jobs and most professions, most colleges, that's what we have to teach those skills. But they shouldn't dominate, especially at the early grade level. And quite frankly, I don't think it does, but we're working on that. We have a committee together. In fact, the committee has provided guidelines, which are in our handbooks and whatever, on AI, and for appropriate teaching of AI, appropriate use of AI, and the fact that really AI is intended from about grade 6 or 7 and up. Okay? Again, being around for a long time, I sat in this building as a supervisor when we had a discussion that we should never allow the internet into our schools. Okay? And we talked about that. Then we talked about how are we going to teach the internet. So, for example, I was an English teacher. We had to teach how to make a judgment on a source. How do you look at where the source is from? So the .edu versus a .org versus a .com. How do you cite those sources? How do you verify those sources? We're doing the same things now. We're learning to do those same things now with the new technology that's coming in. Because it's a tool that's not going away. Our job is to learn how to use it appropriately to then model and teach the kids how to use it appropriately. So, that's, and by the way, we're going to have a survey coming out at the end of the year. We did one at the beginning of the year for parents. We're doing one again where we're going to kind of try to capture 4 or 5 topics to get response to. And one of them will be technology, both the use in the educational, but also our way of communicating with parents. What's the best platform to reach parents? So we're not in disagreement at all. We're 100% in agreement. I think we're in a much better place than maybe the perception is, because I see it you can shake your head no, but I see it every day. I read every lesson plan. The principals are in the building. And, I think, but you're right, when the kids get a little older, it becomes a much more necessary tool. So we're working on it. We'll continue to work on it. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. And again, that's kind of, what I have now. I mean, I didn't bring a ton of stuff with me in anticipation of discussing this. Okay?
And I know, Mr. Early, I believe you have a meeting with a couple of parents on Friday.
Yeah, I am
later
meeting with
this
a couple
week,
of parents
so
on Friday.
I think that'll be a good opportunity, and I always like to stress and just appreciate that, if families have, concerns about things happening in the classroom, first person to go to is the teacher for sure. If you feel like the teacher hasn't quite solved the concern that you have, then it would be going to the principal, and then from there going to the superintendent. So just, the fact that you're going to be meeting with the superintendent, I think is a good step, because they are really Mr. Hurley and the principals are the operational leaders of the school. So they're really the ones who are kind of giving oversight to what's happening in the classrooms on the day-to-day. And as a board, we're kind of a strategic board that's making sure that we're resourcing the district. We're looking at what the district's priority are, more of a kind of 5,000-foot level. But it is important also to be able to hear from the community. So we appreciate that.
I can share one more thing. At that meeting, I'm also going to have Mr. Ryan, who's our director of curriculum, with me, because he's actually been leading more of the dive into this. We've spoken about this at our administrative council. Monthly, I meet with all the principals and the directors, a formal meeting. I mean, obviously, I meet with them and talk to them daily, but a formal meeting. And this has been something on our agenda probably the last 3 months or so. So again, to Dr. Eladi's point, if you have a particular issue in a classroom, it's not a confrontational or argumentative thing. Have a conversation with the teacher. The principals I know are certainly on board with the need to teach students how to use technology, but they're also on board with the appropriate use of it as a tool. So, no one minds a conversation. And I think, and I encourage you to do that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hurley. There is a second meeting open to the public if anyone wants to speak during that second time, but we're going to move on now to new business where there is action to be taken. And we move by consent agenda, so we tend to move pretty quickly through this. So we'll start with personnel. Ms. Cole.
Good evening. Personnel did not meet this month, and we have 22 motions to be put forward tonight at the recommendation of the superintendent. I'd like to move motions 1 through 22 under personnel.
All right. Do we have a second? Mr. Sprayberry. And everyone sees the add-on, the addendum that came this evening. Questions or comments about personnel?
Just one comment. The item for the county submission, just to remind everyone, we had to do that for the interim of the contract. That's something we have to do ahead of having a candidate to submit the contract. The board, when I send that contract to the county for approval, the county wants to see that the board approve the submission of a contract. So this way, if and when we settle on a permanent business administrator, we can then get that contract out because we have this approved.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Ms. Bogosian?
Yes.
Ms. Cates?
Yes.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Racine?
Yes.
Mr. Sprayberry?
Yes.
Dr. Lottie?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to curriculum and instruction. Ms. Jones.
Thank you. We did not have a CNI meeting, and tonight there are 6 motions that have been put forth upon the recommendation of the superintendent.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second on that, Mr. Bogosian? Questions or comments about curriculum and instruction? Hearing none, Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian?
Yes.
Ms. Cates?
Yes.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Racine?
Yes.
Mr. Sprayberry?
Yes.
Dr. Lottie?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on now to finance. Mr. Bogosian.
Good evening. Tonight on the agenda, we have 3 motions to consider under finance, and we did not have a finance committee meeting since our last full board meeting. I'd like to move motions 1 through 3 under finance.
All right, we have a second on those, Dr. Racine. Questions or comments about finance? Hearing none, Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian?
Yes.
Ms. Cates?
Yes.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Racine?
Yes.
Mr. Sprayberry?
Yes.
Dr. Lottie?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
All right, we're going to move on now to policy. Mr. Healy.
Yes, we did not have a policy committee meeting since our last board meeting, and there is one resolution as listed being put forth as a second reading.
Yep.
Putting that forth.
All right, do we have a second for policy? Ms. Cole. So this is on the second reading of those new policies. Questions or comments from board members? All right, hearing none. Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian?
Yes.
Ms. Cates?
Yes.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Racine?
Yes.
Mr. Sprayberry?
Yes.
Dr. Lottie?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
All right, thank you. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Sprayberry.
Good evening. We did not have a Buildings and Grounds Committee this meeting, and we have nothing to put forward.
All right, thank you. We will move on now to old business. Is there any old business? Mr. Jones?
I just want to say that I really enjoyed the brochure that we got in the mail last week. It's got great pictures of our kids. And I just think this is a great thing that you've done, Mr. Hurley. It gets better and better. And the other thing I would just like to share with you is that I go to the KIPP Center for exercise classes, but occasionally I see the school bus in front of it, which means a teacher has come forth and brought students in. And the 7th or 8th grade students at Union School under Jacqueline Herback were making crafts with the seniors, flower pots and pot holders, flowers. They were just having a good time. The interaction is always wonderful, and the kids are always polite. So I thought that would be, I said that I would share it, at the board meeting, and the kids all like that.
Nice. Awesome. Any other old business?
I mentioned the profile of the graduate before, and again, that's another example, what you just brought up. Just a look ahead to the May 11th or 12th, again, I don't have the calendar in front of me, meeting. We're going to have the advisory board from the profile, the teachers from each building, come and present to the board, in the community, what the projects will be for next year, so that we could hear them. And, I'm going to let them do the presentation because they worked with their colleagues to develop them. So that will be the first meeting in May.
All right, we are going to move on to legislative update. Anything for us, Ms. Jones?
I do. Senate Bill 3910, it was introduced on March 12th of this year, and the senators, Angela V. McKnight, from District 31, which is Hudson, requires the parent or guardian to annually notify the school district in writing of the intention to homeschool their child. Requires the school district to compile and post on the district website the number of homeschooled children. A parent or guardian of the child that's going to be homeschooled must notify the superintendent by August 1st of their intention to have their child homeschooled.
Well, again, like I tell you, there's a lot of laws that get moved forward and they don't go beyond being introduced. I haven't seen or heard anything about it. I think it's just been introduced, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. We'll see. It's
Okay.
25% move, so that's it for me.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jones. 7:33 p.m. We are going to open the meeting to the public for anything related to or not related to the agenda. Anything else? All right, seeing none, we're going to close the meeting at 7:33 p.m. We do have a need for an executive session to discuss personnel matter. No action to be taken. Probably about 15 minutes.
I'm going to be.
Yeah.
You're going to be. Yeah. 15 minutes.
So we need a motion to go into executive session. Mr. Sprayberry, seconded by Mr. Bogosian. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We are going to go into executive session. Thank you.